Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, an NU fraternity faces the consequences of a pandemic party.
Plus, cheerleaders tackle alleged discrimination.
And a look at Medill, 100 years in the making.
Those stories and more coming up on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news
right
now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Network. I'm Savannah Kelly.
And I'm Elizabeth Betts. Our top story this week: Northwestern is facing a lawsuit and could be facing another from members or former members of the cheer squad. As Megan Leibowitz reports, CESB graduate Erica Carter says she plans to sue under Section 1981 of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, a race discrimination statute.
Only Black women who are supposed to take the brunt of everything. We're the ones that are supposed to be strong. We're the ones that are supposed to assimilate and be whitewashed.
Erica Carter says she felt she had to suppress her identity as a Black woman for the former cheerleading coach Pamela Bonnevier. And now Carter says she's planning legal action.
I just want accountability to be taken.
Carter provided NNN with screenshots of an email she said Bonnevier sent her after Carter asked about getting braids.
We signed a contract that said we couldn't wear braids, which is a predominantly Black hairstyle.
The email allegedly shows Bonnevier telling Carter she would not be allowed to cover events if she got braids. Carter says she also provided the screenshots to the school in 2020 as part of a petition to fire Bonnevier because of racism. Carter also alleges that the former coach would split up groups of Black cheerleaders for optics. Bonnevier did not respond to multiple requests for an interview.
She would kind of put Black people strategically on the sidelines or in groups to make it look like Northwestern was diverse.
Carter's plans for legal action come as senior Hayden Richardson filed a lawsuit against the school. The lawsuit alleges, quote, violation of Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, TVPA, and various state law claims. The complaint says that the lawsuit is a result of defendants, quote, coordinating, condoning, authorizing, and allowing the Northwestern cheerleading team, including plaintiff, to be sexually exploited and subjected to a hostile environment. The complaint also alleges this was for the university's financial gain. Richardson's lawyers declined NNN's request for interviews with both Richardson and her legal team, but provided a statement reading, quote, we commend Ms. Richardson for her courage in bringing to light the mistreatment, shaming, sexual harassment, and exploitation that she and her teammates suffered for far too long in the face of inaction and, as alleged, a deliberate cover-up. We believe that Ms. Richardson's allegations fall squarely within the ambit of both Title IX and federal sex trafficking statutes. We look forward to Ms. Richardson having her day in court. NNN spoke with a current and a former cheerleader on the condition of anonymity. NNN agreed to disguise their voices.
We were not commercially sex trafficked, and I can say that unequivocally, and I think everyone else could.
The lawsuit alleges that the university attempted to cover up the sexual exploitation of its cheerleaders and says Richardson told faculty members about sexual harassment, assault, and exploitation as early as January 2019. But the reaction is mixed.
All of us are kind of mad that it's not class action. Not that we all would want to get involved, but we would have liked to have a little bit more knowledge of the situation, so at least we could prepare on our legal side, because we all might get deposed.
Both sources also told NNN that Richardson reached out to them and others to inquire if they wanted to participate in her research thesis regarding Title IX and the cheerleading team without disclosing plans for a lawsuit. According to the forms provided to NNN, the research was approved by the Institutional Review Board, or the IRB.
In a way, I think some of my other teammates were tricked into giving her information.
NNN brought questions regarding the research to Richardson's lawyers, who declined further comment. NNN reached out to the professor listed as overseeing the project as well as to the IRB, but has not heard back. A current cheerleader told NNN that in previous years, Title IX got involved and the team stopped attending fan events like tailgating. But the current cheerleader says the essence of the team was promoting and protecting the Northwestern brand, even over safety.
I remember we sat down in a little circle, and Pam was saying, yeah, no, when someone says something creepy or tries to touch you, your response is go cats, shimmy your palms, and walk away.
When reaching out to Northwestern for interviews, a school representative directed NNN to a statement reading in part, quote, "The university has reviewed the complaint and denies that Northwestern violated any law, including Title IX." The statement also says, quote, "The university's Office of Equity took multiple actions to address reports it received, culminating in a thorough investigation. The cheer coach referenced in the complaint is no longer an employee of the university." Megan Leibowitz, Northwestern News Network.
On February 5th, university administrators sent an email to the NU community saying, quote, "We take reports of discrimination or harassment seriously, and we encourage all members of our community to come forward to report their experiences." Erica Carter says this is too little, too late.
A fraternity is facing the consequences of holding a party on campus last month. Joey Safchik has details from the Interfraternity Council president.
Phi Kappa Psi facing sanctions for hosting a party last month.
We had made clear what the expectations are, and it wasn't a great feeling to see that those expectations were not followed.
The Interfraternity Council is fining Phi Psi $3,500 and bans the chapter from recruiting until the end of this school year. Nick Papandreou, president of the IFC, says this is the most severe penalty the board can impose.
Recruitment is the lifeline of every organization.
Papandreou says the IFC can learn from Phi Psi's mistake.
That showed to me that we need to be doing more work.
A separate university investigation is still underway. The Office of Greek Life can't comment directly, but says students should report any parties to administration.
Should the university learn of any reported violations of COVID guidelines, then our Office of Community Standards will be swift in following up with student groups.
According to IFC, the party was on the night of January 18th. After the party, the term super spreaders spray painted on this wall.
The vandalism is not something that we can support.
Sophomore Ijun Kim says the party was reckless.
We're in a pandemic right now. Why would you throw a party? Like, it's just so tone deaf.
Students holding each other accountable in hopes of holding COVID at bay. Joey Safchik, Northwestern News Network.
The Phi Psi chapter has also been relegated to associate member status. Its members must participate in NU programs on COVID, alcohol, and recruitment practices.
Many semester schools are scrapping spring break because of COVID, but Northwestern is planning to have break from March 20th to the 29th. NNN's Jason Harvard has more.
Whipping winds and freezing temperatures, it's winter in Evanston. But if you listen closely, spring is on the horizon. Preparations for a safe spring break underway.
I mean, having 2 quarters instead of 1 semester is a really big difference, and we need time to recharge and to rest.
Some students say NU community health is their first priority.
If we are coming to campus, we have a responsibility to consider the public health of all of the students and the staff and the teachers that are here.
In a campus-wide email last Thursday, the university announced it will continue to operate dorms and dining services at no additional charge to students over spring break. The university also announced another Wildcat wellness quarantine, this time 1 week long from March 29th till April 5th.
CDC actually shortened the time that they recommend that you have a quarantine period, and so we modified the length.
Some students say these precautions could allow for safe travels.
If they implement another wellness period or whatever, I mean, going with friends or going with family, it's not really too much difference.
Others not so sure.
Because I live in Pennsylvania, it's a plane ride away, so I'm not sure if I want to spend the money or risk bringing back COVID to my family.
Whether vacation or staycation, encouraging students to put safety first. Jason Harward, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Jason. In that email, the school also says communications about graduation will be sent out in the next few weeks.
Evanston distributing nearly 9,000 vaccines in the early stages of its rollout. Some Wildcats are among the first to get the shot. Here's NNN's Vanessa Kelson.
Student healthcare workers are taking the shot to help their communities. Jehanna Stastor got her second dose last Tuesday.
There's a big feeling of guilt, getting it so early on. I think that there are so many communities that need it.
Starting winter quarter, Feinberg began vaccinating 3rd and 4th year medical students. followed by second and then first years.
We do have things that are unavoidable that have to be in person as part of our curriculum. And so it's important that everyone has equal access to those educational opportunities.
But inequitable vaccine distribution remains a concern.
It's frustrating because I'm only a first-year medical student, and if I could, and if I had the background and training and platform, I would want to change it up completely.
But getting the shot allows medical students to give back to marginalized communities.
Once they start vaccinating vulnerable communities, we've all kind of signed up for some volunteer shifts.
Joe Grisbeck will receive his second shot of Moderna in 2 weeks. He also plans to help the community once he's fully vaccinated.
I volunteer at a local hospital, and that's been on and off since the pandemic started, so I want to get back into that.
These students say anyone who can should get the vaccine.
The virus is so much more dangerous, and the vaccine is the cure.
A balancing act between vaccinating the most vulnerable populations and those who help them. Vanessa Kelson, Northwestern News Network.
Vaccinated people are encouraged to continue distancing.
Returning now to COVID on campus. How's Northwestern handling contact tracing? NNN's Julia Richardson has more.
About a month after underclassmen returned to campus, how is Northwestern keeping up with COVID protocol?
So it was just like the normal routine. You moved in on campus, first thing, go get tested. But I got a call in the morning and said that my test came back positive.
Freshman George Graham says he was quarantining in Foster Walker within an hour of that call.
They were helpful when I got there. They made sure that I was in the right spot, got to my room okay, that I was provided with everything I would need to be living there for the next 10 days.
Students in quarantine dorms can go to common areas as long as they social distance.
Every day they gave you a phone call. They just asked some questions like, what have you been doing to stay occupied? How are you feeling mentally about the whole thing? That sort of thing. So they did a really good job of taking care of the people that were in there.
But for junior Megan Gutches, the process was not as smooth, especially with contact tracing.
They were like, okay, someone else will call you to take down the names of the people who you've seen. And then I never actually got a phone call.
She also says because she lives off campus, there's no way to enforce quarantine protocol.
I also did have to fill out a form. There was a question that was like, have you been in your isolation? I said yes because I had, but it probably would be easy for people to say no.
According to the university's COVID-19 dashboard, 28 positive cases were recorded between February 1st and February 7th. In Evanston, Julia Richardson, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Julia. And coming up, Northwestern celebrates Black History Month.
Plus, as Wildcats settle in on campus, they remember there's no place like home.
Multicultural Student Affairs is partnering with Black student groups to celebrate Black History Month. Here's more from Katrina Pham.
MSA has planned events for February to celebrate Black History Month. The theme, Reclaim and Reimagine.
So reclaiming and reimagining is really just like reclaiming and reimagining ourselves and defining ourselves in our Blackness.
There's a focus on including all intersections of the Black community.
So when we think about how can we celebrate, how can we uplift when we're talking about a given community and identity, we would be doing a disservice if we acted like that only exists in this really vacuumed version of just a race and ethnicity.
Black history includes the influence of Black people on cultures all over the world.
Black history gives us a great opportunity to highlight the great contribution of the African continent in this side of the world.
Celebrating Black History Month does not stop after February.
And the only way that we can continue that legacy is if we push forth the work that they laid before us. And so my hope is that is what people will do. People will join organizations and push themselves.
This celebration at Northwestern is possible because of the shared efforts of MSA, FMO, and many other groups. What do they hope we take away? A complex, deeper understanding of Black history. Katrina Pham, Northwestern News Network.
Events will be going on all through February to celebrate. You can find and register for them on Northwestern's website.
Biking through Evanston can be unsafe on busy roads, so a new initiative looks to make bike travel safer. NNN's Michaela Denault pedals into the story.
The Evanston Transit Alliance, or ETA, has a new plan, a greenway of bike trails.
It's an opportunity for a lot more of that active transit and, a way of seeing people outside the classroom and outside of work.
Connecting Wisconsin to Chicago routes, the mapped roads arrive at Northwestern.
Well, it is obviously a safer way than kind of the Wild West that is out there now. So giving people some guidance, a little protection.
The proposed Evanston Greenway would bring bikers of all skill levels, promoting safety and equity in travel.
A lot of restaurant workers come up to downtown via some improvised route, one improvised route or another. So that's kind of another area where it becomes an equity issue.
The Greenway would also reduce carbon emissions.
Evanston has a thing called the Climate Action Resilience Plan with carbon neutral and green energy goals, and this should be a big part of it.
Funding is the biggest concern, but the ETA emphasizes the importance of accessibility during this economic crisis.
Evanston is where the trails come to die. There's no clear shot.
Kicking off an environmental impact. Michaela Denault, Northwestern News Network.
Citizens for a Greener Evanston, Go Evanston, and the Recyclery Bike Shop all support ETA's Greenway proposal.
While being on campus has its perks, many freshmen find themselves missing home. NNN's Vicky Chung has the story.
Mom's food, a loyal dog, family time. These are just some of the reasons Northwestern freshmen might be feeling homesick.
It was tough to adjust, not being able to say, hello to my family. I actually had a couple of instances where I would FaceTime them and then I would just start crying because I missed them so much.
And Sang-Hoo Lee isn't alone. According to the Health Alliance Plan of Michigan, about 69% of first-year college students experience severe homesickness. But there are ways to cope.
Socialize as much as you can, because I think that's what distracts you from overthinking and thinking about home so much.
Sophomore Emma Yu also encourages freshmen to try their best to live in the moment.
There's actually one thing that my friend said to me last fall. She said you may be feeling homesick for your your home, but one day you'll be homesick for the people here and for Northwestern, and that's very true.
Trying to make a home away from home. Vicky Chung, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Vicky. Now moving off campus, students face a different kind of problem. NNN's Hannah Jiang has more.
Finding the perfect off-campus apartment can be time-consuming.
It felt like another class almost in terms of time commitment and stress to try to find a place.
But in a pandemic, new problems arise.
Before renting an apartment, students check security and electricity in person. But now, quality check turns online, and students feel they have to take a leap of faith.
It's really hard to get a whole picture of what a house looks like over FaceTime. The landlord obviously controls where the camera's pointed.
Homebase NU is a student project that examines housing resources. In a survey, they ask about the class of 2022's rental experience. 25 out of 48 responses express concern with online tours, but some students still choose to rent.
We're very desperate and we had no options, so we just decided that was good enough.
Students say there isn't a centralized system where they can easily find apartments.
One of the main ways people would find out about new listings was through friends or people in class, just discussing where they're living. Potentially their lease is up and they're looking to pass it down to someone. So that's much more difficult this year.
Overcoming pandemic challenges, finding a new place to call home. Hannah Jiang, Northwestern News Network.
Right now, Homebase NU's website lists almost 30 rentals and 18 sublets.
Some NU professors are moved off campus too, but not in Evanston. They're all over the world. How are they learning to best teach their students? NNN's Jenny Ha reports.
Believe it or not, professors don't live at school.
I decided to come back to Taiwan.
I live in a small town, university town in the UK.
This quarter, professors are scattered around the world, balancing their personal lives.
Leave my job, leave my family, what do I do?
And professional lives.
I finish teaching here at 10 o'clock. Then if there are meetings, I finish the meetings at midnight or 1 o'clock.
And though creating an online curriculum poses its own challenges,
each day is a learning process.
Out of the country doesn't mean out of reach.
Everyone comes to meetings, everybody teaches their classes, everybody meets with their students.
Both Chang and Nasty say they're adjusting well and focusing on their students.
But I'd rather stay up than miss out too much. The students are the real the real heart of our jobs.
Weinberg Faculty Affairs Program Assistant Quinn Leach says the college knows of 5 faculty members teaching remotely abroad. But with most departments already in remote instruction, there is no official database with the total number of faculty who are abroad and teaching remotely, and new professors learning how they can best teach their students miles away from campus. Jenny Ha, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Jenny. Coming up, we wouldn't be here without it, celebrating 100 years of student journalism at NU.
When Northwestern students left campus last March, Evanston businesses lost some of their most loyal customers. Now, many local favorites are happy to have students back in town. Here's NNN's Gabrielle Coriati.
Since the pandemic hit, some 70 Evanston businesses permanently shutting their doors, according to Evanston's Department of Commerce.
A little bit like the virus, if your business had a pre-existing condition that made it weak, the virus finished it off. If your business was strong, you survived it, but you probably took it below.
Businesses working to adapt while storefronts were shut and students scattered across the country.
It's really just been learning how to roll with the punches, learning how to do business in ways that we weren't necessarily comfortable doing business.
With students back on campus, Evanston businesses are hoping they shop local and support their favorite spots.
When they make the choice to buy that book from us, they're bringing all of those benefits to themselves and to Evanston.
Businesses saw an initial increase when students and families arrived for move-in.
When you get back to town, you want to order your favorite foods and try out all the new interesting things or whatever. And especially because there's fewer restaurants because some are closed entirely.
And now you can support your favorite spots without facing the cold.
The best way is for you to call. And we have our own delivery service. So when you call us, we take your order, we call our delivery service, say we got a delivery, they come and they pick it up.
A call to shop around so your favorite spots can stick around. Gabrielle Coriati, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Gabrielle. And as Cook County suburbs move out of Tier 1 and into Phase 4, those businesses can welcome back indoor diners.
With positivity rates and hospitalizations decreasing in the area, students can now dine indoors, go to movie theaters, and attend gatherings of up to 50 people. Some NU students are excited to eat somewhere other than the dining hall, while others are still concerned about the spread of COVID-19.
So I at least am willing to go like a few times depending on the occasion. Some people I know would not go at all. They wouldn't take it all. And some people, they might be going every weekend.
Should the region's positivity rate reach 8% again, mitigations will be back in effect, meaning no more indoor dining or gatherings of more than 10 people. We're excited to introduce a new segment, Bet's Bites, where I'll give you my take on Evanston's restaurant scene. Drive east on Noyes, and right by the train station, you'll find Stacked and Folded. Right now, they're only open for outdoor dining, but they've got fire pits in the middle of tables to keep you warm, and a TV to keep you entertained. Now let's dig in. First, the chicken Caprese sandwich with marinated chicken breast, fresh mozzarella, pesto, tomatoes, and basil pesto aioli on a baguette. The cheese pull, exquisite. Even when it's reheated, the cheese pull is beautiful. Up next, the gluten-free al pastor taco, a single taco with guajillo chili marinated pork, pineapple pico de gallo, a signature slaw, and queso fresco with cilantro lime crema in a corn tortilla. The pineapple pico de gallo really elevates this taco by adding a citrusy burst of flavor.
Oh, wow.
This week, Gabrielle Coriati is my guest, offering her opinion on the blackened chicken quesadilla. The blackened chicken quesadilla comes with mozzarella cheese on a seasoned flour tortilla and fresh guacamole. Gabrielle gives the quesadilla a thumbs up.
It's got a nice little seasoning on the outside, and it's got a lot of cheese. I think that's what I really like, is that it has a lot of cheese in it.
Overall, Stacked and Folded has the Betts Bites stamp of approval. Check them out sometime. Elizabeth Betts, Northwestern News Network. I hope you enjoyed those delicious sights as much as I did. Unparalleled past, unlimited future. That's the theme for a very special year in Medill. NNN's Andrew Rowan has the story.
All of us stand on the shoulders of people who came before us.
The Medill School of Journalism, Media, and Integrated Marketing Communications celebrates a special milestone this week. 100 years since its founding.
We shall now broadcast the election returns.
In 1920, newspapers dominate, but 3 months before Medill came to be, a Pittsburgh radio station begins broadcasting election results.
At the very beginning of the Medill was a hint of a media disruption.
And over the next 100 years, that media disruption would be a common theme in Medill's DNA, forcing the school to adapt to the industry.
They had to know how the printing press operated.
Medill has seen a lot of innovation, from the classrooms of Fisk Hall to the pages of the Daily Northwestern, on the internet with the Night Lab, and here in the broadcast TV studio, within the school's second building, the McCormick Foundation Center.
We also didn't want it to just be about the past. We really wanted to say, hey, what's going to happen next?
The school launching a website dedicated to the celebration with an interactive timeline using Night Lab software designed at Medill.
But to say, hey, how can Medill play a role in the future of the journalism industry, in the future of the marketing industry? And
the journalism school looking back on its own story while noting the rest is still unwritten. Andrew Rowan, Northwestern News Network.
To celebrate the centennial earlier this week, Medill holding a global trivia night hosted by Professor Emeritus Roger Boy and award-winning journalist Garen Flowers.
Coming up, honoring a proud NU alum who's also made Northwestern proud. Finally, Northwestern alumnus and legendary actress Cloris Leachman passed away late last month. NNN's Diego Ramos honors her legacy.
Northwestern celebrates the life of late alumnus Cloris Leachman, an actress and comedian whose career spanned more than 7 decades. Known for her on-stage and on-screen performances, famously Grandma Ida in Malcolm in the Middle.
I had seen her in a few TV shows or movies, and she really was an amazing actress. I was very saddened when I heard that she had died.
And it was just really fun to watch her, and she was hysterical.
Leachman is accredited for winning an Academy Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. She's also tied with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, another NU alumnus, for Most Awarded Actress in Emmy history with 8 wins.
The winner is Cloris Leachman from The Last Picture Show.
I am deeply honored. Thank you.
In 2014, Leachman received an honorary degree from Northwestern. Benjamin Slivka, NU alumnus from the class of 82 and 85, nominated her via email.
I mean, you could see why she had such a long career, is she's very charismatic and very energetic.
On campus, Leachman performed in the 1946 WAMU show and was in the 1946 production of Blithe Spirit. Leachman died at age 94 of natural causes. A proud Wildcat and cinematic legend, Leachman's poise, humor, and charisma will seldom be forgotten. Diego Ramos Bechara, Northwestern News Network.
Cloris Leachman, she will be missed.
That's all the time we have for today. For everyone at NNN, I'm Elizabeth Betts.
And I'm Savannah Kelly. Good night, and thanks for watching.